Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
All right, we back at it. First and foremost, we want to give all praise and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ. Right, and for those of you that's new to the channel, make sure you come in, like, share, and subscribe when you come in the building, man. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a mighty shalom when you come in. Right. We're gonna get into it, man. We want to give double honors to the elders, man, that's been out there for decades putting in this work. That young brews like ourselves, man, will be able to come into this truth and sincerity, man. Shout out to all the saints and of Israel that scattered abroad, man. Those that are still working on themselves, getting built up in the spirit, right? And shout out to all the sisters, man, the Aquat that's out there still building themselves up too as well, right? But we're gonna get into it. You see the title, man. We're gonna let the room build up. You got something out?
No, man. I'll pray to see how about Shimmy Shai. Right. Double honors to the elect of the house of David, of course, and a mighty shalom to the saints scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom.
Kind, man. We see what today is, man. We see what's going on, what our people are participating in, and we would be amiss, man, to not address these things, right? Us knowing the truth, us knowing, being able to see through the smoke screen, the toxins, if you will, and to allow our people to still partake in these days, man, and to these the rudiments of the world. But we got the question you should be asking yourself, right? Should the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans, right, be celebrating 4th of July, right? Why are we participating in these things, right? Who has given us these things, and where do they come from, right? So we're gonna let the precepts come out, and Lord willing, we pray you be edified, right, and that you can come out of the ways of the world, right? So yeah, we're gonna get to it, man.
Gonna let the room build up again. If you're new to the room, or even if you're not new to the room, like, share, subscribe, drop some sevens in the comments. Let us know you in the building, man. And we're gonna jump into it. Get a few minutes for the room to build up. We're gonna jump right into it.
Con. Con, man. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this thing, right? The first precept is gonna be in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right? Deuteronomy 28, right? We're gonna start at verse 43. Deuteronomy 28 and 43. Right. Make sure you got your King James Version Bible, right? Note, pen and notepad, right? And also the Apocrypha, right? If you don't have a 1611, right?
And the spirit, man, the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Make sure you have that first and foremost, man. We want a lot of these things to be able to be edifying for the sheep. Otherwise, we're doing it for naught. We want you to be able to receive this and be able to incorporate it in your walk if you haven't already.
Con. Deuteronomy 28 chapter. We're gonna start at verse 43. We're gonna read through verse 50.
Right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 43. And it reads, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high."
Right. We understand that a stranger, because this is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, given to the Israelites via Moses. Right. So we understand that the audience contextually is referring to Israel. Right. So anyone outside of Israel will be considered a stranger. Go ahead.
And thou shalt come down very low.
Come, right, and we're gonna come down very low. So these particular strangers, when they come on the scene, the Israelites are gonna become very low. Right, read on.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Right, and we see that today. Right, we see that in the economy that we live in. Right, a lot of things that have been given to us, right, is via the hand of the stranger, right, the so-called white man. Right, read on.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Right, and that's referring to the hierarchy that has been set up right from the beginning of time. Right, and we're gonna go into these things not just biblically but historically. We got some historical evidence, or you can take over out real quick, that will expound and further prove these things.
Right, because we're going to use contextual evidence, biblical evidence, as well as historical evidence to all land me back on each other and to come around to the same conclusion that these things that we're perpetuating were never for us. They were never meant to be celebrated by us, and they've been enforced and pushed on us by our so-called oppressors. Right. I'm going to pick up at verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Come on.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Right, and that in the book of Hosea, the 4th chapter, it'll tell you that our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
That's right.
Right, so this is us being overtaken by these strangers because of some type of systemic, right, or physical oppression that has been placed upon our people.
Yeah, because that destruction or thou shalt be destroyed is pertaining to the physical, the chattel slavery where we were destroyed, as well as the spiritual doctrines and theology being pushed on us, and mentally we are destroyed because we cleave to a nation that has never loved us and doesn't have the capability of loving us. Right. Picking up in verse 45, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded this day. We still here.
Right.
We still here. Verse 47. Because thou servest not Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things.
Right. So we have to go to our oppressors for everything, right? From clothing to food to transportation, licenses, different type of licenses, birth certificates, right? Death certificates. If you're trying to go out of the state, you got to get a passport, right? So this is
car registration. The list goes on.
Right. So we understand that these curses have been placed upon this certain people who would be, right, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the Native American Indians, right, today. Right, read on that.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Come on.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Right. When I first read this, when I was outside of the truth, and I heard, hey, this got to be us, man. Who else could this be? Right. And then it's going to further get into it.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
From where?
From far.
Right. Now we got to get into the history. Right. Now we got to deal with the Transatlantic Slave Trade Act. Right. Now we got to go and deal with how was America founded? Right. When was it founded? And who founded it? Right. I discovered it. Right. So we're gonna get in. We're gonna pull some excerpts. We're gonna finish this precept down, and we're gonna bring out the excerpt. Go ahead, King.
As from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right. You see that? It says as swift as the eagle flieth. Right. We can't just read past these things. These things are, the scriptures call them double fold, according to Job 11:6. So when it talks about the eagle, right, you got to look at the historical evidence of each hierarchy that's been set up. They're symbols, right? The eagle, right? The bird, right? These things that they have placed upon themselves as a nation, right? Rome, right? Egypt did it. Greece, right? So on and so forth. So these are all of the same type of people. Go ahead.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Right, and we're gonna go all the way back, not just to the ancient. We're gonna go all the way back to 1619. Right, we're gonna fast forward that thing to 1619. We're gonna bring some of those things up too as well. Right, 1619, 1776. Right, these are all accounts that we gotta talk about. Right, but 1776. Right, you see here. Right, this is when the 13 colonies, right? This is the consummation of America, if you will, right? The birth of America, right? It was conscribed of 13 colonies that wanted to branch away from Great Britain because they was told that they couldn't keep slaves, right? So when they left, right, during 1776, and it was actually founded on July the 2nd, right? And anybody can go and just Google this information, right? And that's why they say if you put the average information in the book, the average black man won't read it, right? Roughly paraphrasing. So we got to understand that these things are out here, as it says. Give me Romans 15:4 real quick. I'll pull it. Romans 15:4. You there?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
Come on.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
Right, written aforetime, not just in these scriptures, but also in historical facts, right? Read on.
Were written for our learning.
Right, and we got to start teaching our people. First, you got to learn it. Then you got to start teaching these things. Read on.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
Right, and that's why we've been patiently waiting, man, for the day and the opportunity to be able to bring these things to light. But we gotta go precept upon precept, and we gotta go account upon account, so that this can't be refuted. Right. So here you have the 13 colonies over here on this side of the map, right? And then that's when out of these 13 colonies came the 50 states, right? And they were trading sugar, cotton, all type of different trades, if you will. And we were stocks. We were the ones that was getting traded for the sugar.
I was going to say slaves.
Right. So the slaves were also the ones that was getting traded over here on these auction blocks, being sold on these slave ships, right? And we're going to get that in. Let's jump to 68 real quick in that. 28 and 68.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68.
Right.
And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right. With what?
With ships.
Right. We understand that where Egypt is synonymous with bondage according to Exodus 20 and verse 2. Right. Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right. And we have been brought over here, and our forefathers and our foremothers have been brought to this land. Right. And we have not seen our land anymore. Right. Those of us who might not have the means to travel, right? The means to purchase a passport. All right, go ahead, Doc.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Unto who?
Unto your enemies.
Come on.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
Right. When we got off those slave ships, man, we were over here. We were this was not the land of our rest. Right. We were sold over here unto a nation who we didn't know, a tongue that we didn't know about. Right. And some would say, well, that's old. Right, we got to get past that. Right, we're gonna get on that. Right, because just because these things have happened of old, you got to still have eyes to see that they're still happening today, according to the book of Ecclesiastes. Right, go ahead, King.
And no man shall buy you.
And what?
No man shall buy you.
Come on.
Or redeem you out of this captivity.
Come, let's sit on that.
Come.
So we can jump back to that Deuteronomy 28, and we're gonna bring out some hard facts. We're gonna stop sharing this one real quick. Go ahead, Art.
Want to keep reading?
Con. You
read
went to 50? Okay, so like let's get to the next precept.
Con, this is Genesis chapter 40 and verse 15. Genesis chapter 40 and verse 15.
Go ahead, Art.
And it reads, for indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews.
Out of what?
Out of the land of the Hebrews.
Right, it's plain upon tables. We were stolen out of the land of the Hebrews. Right, this is another precept in Baruch 4 and 28. Right, Baruch 4 and 28, and it reads, so like it Baruch 3 and 8. It reads, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse. Right, so this is backing up the Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, letting you know that something that we are yet in a place because of what we have done as a nation of people, right? But we have to do something to get us up out of this thing. Continuing on, for a reproach and a curse to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. Right. So these things have happened because of those those men of old, our forefathers and our foremothers who transgressed against the Most High God. You got something?
Kind.
Go ahead.
It's a quick precept. This is Jeremiah 22:10. Let me finish reading this first. This is what are we reading through? Just 15. It says, "For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon." This is Jeremiah 22:10. It says, "Weep ye not for the dead, neither bemoan him, but weep sore for him that goeth away, for he shall return no more, nor see his native country." Right.
Let's see what Uncle Fred had to say. Right, Uncle Frederick Douglass. Right, because he grew up as a slave. Right, but he knew how to read and write. He wasn't illiterate. Right, so this Uncle Fred had an understanding about this thing. Right, and this is what he says. Right, he has this whole manifesto. You can look that up too. We'll put the link in the chat, man, for those of you who want to study to show yourself approved on this whole manifesto of what how he felt about the 4th of July, right? When it was, because it was instituted during his lifespan, right? And it reads, the rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers, right, is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. Right? Let's see what let me finish this up. It says, this 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. Right? So we're mourning. Right? This is a day that our forefathers and our foremothers were still picking cotton, man, in 1776. Right? Just a couple months ago, our people in 2022 was just out here celebrating Juneteenth. Last month. Right? So this is madness. And it's got to stop somewhere. We was bringing this out yesterday. Was it yesterday we just did the breakdown? Yahushua?
Yeah.
Right? We was just bringing this out in Isaiah 53, though. Watch this. Because he talking about those stripes, those are yours. The same sun light that brought you life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. Watch this. Most High is perfect, man. Isaiah 53, right? And we're going to get, you know what I'm looking for?
What you looking for?
Isaiah 53 and verse 5. Right? Because this is what Frederick Douglass, I believe that the brother knew. Right? It says, this is Isaiah 53 and 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. This is referencing Christ, right? And with his stripes, we are healed, right? So the stripes of America, they don't represent us, man. The stripes of Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world calls Christ, that's who represents us. Those are the stripes that we're going to put on, man. We are the stars, right? So that's our understanding when we're dealing with the 4th of July. Because all of these things are lies, right? Give me Jeremiah 16 and 19 real quick. It's a classic precept. Because we have been given something that's been regurgitated and repeated throughout centuries, and we don't question these things. And we got to start. We the what you be saying all the time, Mark?
Generation of faith.
We the generation of faith. We got to start asking these questions, right? Watch this. This is Jeremiah 16 and 19. It says, "O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity and things wherein there is no profit." It doesn't profit us anything to go out here with some 4th of July, a t-shirt on, red, white, and blue, right? You get some firecrackers, right? Numerous accounts right throughout history. Jake getting his dang fingers blown off, right? We got something to show y'all too, real quick, right? Because this we dealing with the facts, man. We dealing with straight truth, and Jake just don't got no understanding, right? Watch this. Salaki, bear with us. Right, you see what's going on with Jake, right? He out here participating in folly, man. I'll pull it up over here on this. All right, you got the. We're gonna keep it rolling through the spirit, man. Let's get the next precept. Right, so we have now. You have it, and then we're gonna we got some other videos, man, to pull up too, man. Watch this. Bear with this. Right, we got to come out of the ways of the world. Give me Revelation 18:4 real quick while we're pulling this up. It's further down, but we're gonna go ahead and get on it. Right, because we not from here, man. This is not the land of our rest, as we brought out earlier, dealing with Baruch 3 and 8. Right, so when we find out that this is not the land of our rest, we gotta gird ourselves up, man.
This is Revelation chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that you may be that ye be not partakers of her sins,
right,
and that you receive not of her plagues."
Right, and that's what we're doing to the best of our ability, man. Because the Most High is gonna come back and plague this place. Right, it's already plagued as it is already. Right, you got pestilences already all over the place, monkeypox, COVID. Right, you got homosexuality running rampant. Right, I just saw earlier they had a Boy Scout parade. Right, and then right behind the Boy Scout parade was some naked sodomites on bikes. On bikes, riding around, and then
scouting.
Yeah, Boy Scout.
Scouting boys.
And then they pulled up on a tank, right, in some dang spandex, twerking. This is madness, man. This is America, right?
For her sins have reached unto heaven.
Right, and the Most High God is upset with this place, man. And they're gonna reach up to heaven, right?
And Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities.
Give me Proverbs 11 and 21, right? Because we're gonna. This is what happened in today's time.
This is Proverbs 11 and verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
Right, because these things are going to happen, and they feel, Esau feels, and all the other nations feel like if they can just get buddy up with Jake, just good enough that he can get out of jail free and pass go and collect his $200. Right, that's not the case. We're not dealing. The Most High not dealing like that. Right.
The wicked shall though hand, Proverbs 11 and 21.
Come on.
Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
Right, and that's us, man. That's Israel. We the ones that's going to be delivered. Right. Watch this. Let me share this real quick. Oh yeah. Okay.
You was already there.
Let me stop sharing this one. Move this one. We're back here. Yeah.
Yeah, see that?
Oh,
yeah, I see it right there.
Slovakia.
You gotta do it from if you're doing it from her, mute that and then share from her.
That's one.
You gotta share from her.
Which one?
Like
This
that.
is me. Okay, we back, Aki. Slovakia. All right, watch this. This is what Jake do on 4th of July, man. Right. It's something else that he do. Brother, look at damn firecracker in the house, man. Damn Pikachu. Gonna set off a damn lightning bolt
About to
in
catch
the
a
house.
boat. Good.
Look at this,
Madness. About to start a damn fire, bro.
It didn't stop. Pikachu started going off. Watch this. He started turning up. Right. We gotta stop this. Set the house on fire, man.
He done called Ma after that mug got lit. Now
Right.
he called him Mama.
Right.
I got a precept, bro.
Come on, bring it out, all right?
This is Isaiah 65:2. I have spread out my hands all day unto a rebellious people.
Come on.
Which walketh in a way that was not good. Hey, was not good lighting Pikachu in the house, man. Wasn't nothing good about that, bro. After their own thoughts. A people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificed in gardens and burneth incense or burneth Pikachus upon altars of brick.
Right.
Right. Which remain, and that's I can see through the spirit in the hood, brothers set they fireworks up on a brick or up on some steel to shoot that mug up, but that's neither here nor there.
Man,
bro.
I done seen brothers put it the bottle rockets. You know put it in a beer bottle.
Yeah,
and then
bro.
next thing you know, that boy get the sizzling.
Exploded.
No, it get the sizzling, then the bottle tip off.
Yeah,
now everybody break
aimed
out.
at you.
Now everybody go. Come on, man.
Good.
Go ahead.
Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh. And what they doing on the 4th of July? What kind of ribs is you cooking, brother?
Come on.
And broth of abominable things is in their vessel, which say, stand by thyself, come not near me, for I am holier than thou. Right? I bought all these kids fireworks. Everybody get barbecue when they pull up on me. Right? These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silent.
I will what?
I will not keep silent.
Right, and that's the Most High using us, man, through the Spirit, man, to come out and bring out this truth.
That's right. He speak by the mouth of his prophets, but will recompense into their bosoms. Right.
Quick precept, Amos 5:21. And let me back off the brother, man. We're gonna run through this, bro. Just you feel the Spirit. Let's get it. Right. It says, Amos 5:21. I hate and despise your feast days.
I would.
I hate and despise your feast days. Right? Didn't the brothers just bring out right that they are what?
These are a smoke in my nose,
right? The Most High
fire that burneth all day,
right? He not dealing with that swine that you offering up, man, right? I hate and despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Right? This land was not. This land is not the home of the free, right? In the home of the brave, man. They might be free, but this is the home of the slave, man. We the ones who built this place. As that brother Franklin say on Snowfall, brick by brick, man. We built this thing. All right, go ahead.
Let's sit on that.
Let's sit on that. Right, we're gonna get back to. I got one more video, man. Let's see what let's Let's see what else Jake be out here doing, man. All right, let's see what Jake be doing. Oh, I'm sharing it already. It's lucky. Visible? Okay.
I'm not sharing it. Go back.
The yellow should
Y'all can't see it?
Okay. Okay.
Oh, add it to the stream. Yeah.
That's not the one.
That one.
This
right
one
there.
Okay. Right. This is what Jake be out here doing.
Y'all can see it now? Y'all still can't see it?
This is a little delay.
This is a delay.
Bang up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Look at Terry, man. This ain't Terry.
Damn Hot Wheels, man.
Come on,
Bang
man.
up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Get out of there.
Man.
Well, left his wheels, man.
Bang up, Terry. Put it in reverse.
We don't know what happened to the brothers, how he got the ailment. It could have been because he was doing this, man.
Bang up.
We got to come out of these things, man. Right? It's time for us to stop the madness, man. We're going to put a stop to this thing through the Spirit. Right? Next precept, we're going to be in the book of Exodus 21 and 16. Right? Exodus chapter 21 and 16. Because we're going to talk about the consummation of America, right, and how it was built. This is Exodus.
I got a precept, man.
Got one?
Yeah, it's just let me back on that point. We know that this is talking about something deeper than this, but you know, we're gonna go into it. This is Proverbs chapter 1. I'm gonna start at 24. Because I have called and ye refused.
Mm-hmm.
I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded.
Come on.
But you have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof.
Right. How many prophets of old had to come and die, right, for this truth?
Mm-hmm.
Right. How many brothers that you're gonna see coming out in the world? How many artists are you gonna see to come out and profess that they Hebrew Israelites? Right. When are you gonna get the picture? Right. Keep going on that.
I will also laugh at your calamity. And I will mock when your fear cometh.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, brother looked pretty fearful to me hopping up out that wheelchair. Right? The Most High is mocking us, right? He's laughing at us. The Most High made them wheels stop. That's why you couldn't roll away. Okay. The Most High made Cha-Cha go run down that firecracker and shake it and throw it over there by the house. That's the Most High doing, man. All these things is the Most High's doing. When your fear cometh, that's desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, which this is even the beginning of sorrows, what we have to come, right? This is us being spiritually destroyed, being spiritually desolate, but it's physically coming to our people because we are so stubborn and stiff-necked, hard-headed, don't listen. Like the brother said, as much information is coming out and shedding light on the fact that the so-called blacks are the Jews and we are the Hebrews and the Israelites of the Bible. If you still celebrating these folly days, these feast days, eating pork in 2022, right? Draw a target on your head because the Most High got some firework for you in the form of a nuke, and it's coming, right? When your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hate knowledge, for they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Most High. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Yield on that.
Man. And that's what our people do, because in the book of, what was it, Isaiah 30 and 8, right?
Let me get that, man.
This is what happened to our people, man. You get into these synagogues, these theologies, right? You get into these workplaces, right? Because now you get off from work, right? And you feel like you get a license to just go out here and do whatever.
I'm going to read one first, man.
Go ahead.
It says, woe to, this is Isaiah 30 and 1.
I'll grab one and put it up.
It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh. that take counsel, but not of me,
Mm-hmm.
and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
Right. You want to put on an American flag, man.
Kind.
Right. You want to put on the ways of America, Babylon. Go ahead.
That they may add sin to sin,
Mm.
that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, or New Egypt, or Babylon, or America.
Bring it up.
Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh, or Sleepy Joe, be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of America your confusion.
Come.
I'm going to jump down to verse 8. Now go write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come, forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children.
What?
Lying children. Children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
Right? Because that's what this is about, man. We have been given something. We have been given this Constitution. We haven't even got on that yet, right? The Constitution of America, right? The amendment, the civil rights that have been given to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans, right? You got some more on that?
Come. Children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, prophesy or speak unto us smooth things,
right?
Prophesy deceit,
right? Because that's what's going on, man. Our people want to love to hear the smooth things, man.
I appreciate it.
Right, and speaking on that, like Galatians, in the book of Galatians, the fourth, 4:16, it says, have I then therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Right, we're not out here bringing no lies to you. We love our people, man. We've been commissioned and commanded to go out here and tell our people the truth, right? But we coming for you if you want to participate in that, right? Because the scriptures tell you, man, in 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter, it says, them that sin rebuke before all, that others may fear.
Okay.
Right, so that's what we're doing out here, and we're not being passive. We're not going to be effeminate in how we bringing this thing out. This is for those who want to seek this thing in sincerity and truth. Are you?
Real quick, just a real quick precept. This is John 7:49. But this people who knoweth not the law are cursed. Right? Real straight to the point, man. The reason that we out here with a American flag outfit, the reason why our women are wearing red, white, and blue hair and fingernails and popping firecracks and blowing their damn hands off and jumping down out of wheelchairs on their nubs, running away from firecrackers, man, it's because we don't know the law and we curse behind it. Because we don't have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of our power, we are a cursed people, and we cleave to any doctrine that tickles our ears, right? Anything that makes us feel good, any smooth thing that sounds good, right? Let me go to the next one. Colossians chapter 3, verse 25.
Oh, so Laki, I didn't grab this Exodus 21:16, right? Exodus 21 and verse 16. Right, we're gonna bring that back up here for the family. Right, Exodus 21:16. It says, and he that stealeth a man, that stealeth a man, and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Right, and so that's the fate and that's the judgment of the so-called white man, right? That he has brought us over here to this land, and the Most High, and we have found out, right? We have awoken into the hand of our enemies, right? On a spiritual level, right? We know who they are, right? And we treat them as such, and we see them as such, right? So if it says, and he that stealeth a man and seeth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall be surely put to death. And he that, and we're going to yield right there. But that's Revelations 13:10, right? Precept upon precept. Then I'm gonna let my brother get that precept real quick.
No, go ahead. All right.
Revelations 13. Right. The 13th chapter. And it reads, it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Shall what?
Go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right, those slaves that got off on those slave ships, and I was reading some articles today trying to find some information. Right, Shalom Octogenarius on the scene, man. Shalom. Right, I was reading some articles today, and history is his story. Right, it's what they want you to see.
That's right.
And they have changed it. Right, they don't have U.S. history like when we grew up in school. All right, they're saying that these slaves that came over here, guess what they call them? Indentured servants. Right? You know what an indentured servant is? An indentured servant is someone who voluntarily signs themselves up for a certain amount of slavery. Right? It could be up for amount 7 years. Right? And then after that 7 years, you're free to go. Right? That's not what was going on when they came over to the West Shores of Africa, man. Them brothers, Jake wasn't out there with his thumb up, trying to hitchhike a ride, right? So these are lies, man. So you gotta be able to have discernment and spiritually be able to discern these things on the spiritual level. So I yield on that. That was Revelations 13 and 10. Right, we're gonna keep it rolling. You got your precept out, Colossians.
Book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he had done.
Right, that's justice, man. And that's what we want, man. We don't want no reparations. Right, this is the reparations that we want, man. Yahweh Shai gonna come back and he gonna find us in their hands, and the Most High gonna send that judgment down, according to Joel, the 3rd chapter.
Hey, and it's gonna happen to them.
Come.
Real quick precept on that. The same way they had us in captivity, the Most High is gonna return that recompense upon their own head. Right, this is Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 9.
That's on here. Bring it up.
It is?
No, it's not. Salakia. No, it's not. I know you're going now.
Okay. Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 9. And it reads, Therefore, as I live it, said the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. Even the breeding, now this is the so-called Japanese and American, Japanese and Chinese, right? And then if you go back and look at this, it deals with a lot of different nations and their judgment, right? Even the breeding of nettles and salt pits and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Lord of hosts.
Right, and that's what we're dealing with. They got that song, Proud to be an American, and at least I know I'm free. Right, the Most High says in the scriptures, he hated a prideful look, man.
That's right.
He hated a prideful, 7 things he hates, and pride is one of them. Right, so we're not proud to be no American, man. To hell with America. Read on, Doc.
The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. Right. Yield on that. Bring it out, Nakai.
Nakai, the scribe on the scene, man. Right, he got a quick precept. Bring it out. What you got?
That's 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse 42. 2nd Ezra 5 and verse 42. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first.
Right, and that's that ring is a repetitive cycle, man. When are we gonna break the chain, man? If you free, if you so-called free, the chain should have been broken already. Right, but we still in bondage, man. We still in captivity on a spiritual level. We got shackles on our minds. Read that out.
Want to run it back?
Yeah, read it again. Salaki.
2nd Ezra 5 and verse 42. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first.
So
Got one more.
You got one in Ecclesiastes?
La.
Come on, go ahead.
This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
Right.
Let me read this too. But jump back to verse 11. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, where I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. I yield, all right.
Right. Next precept. Right, because these things are going to go unpunished. You can be found hand to hand with your enemy, with your oppressor, right? And you're going to be found and you're going to be thrust through. Thus says the Lord, right? Precept Psalms 49 and 11. We're going to keep it rolling through the spirit.
Psalms 49 and 11.
Okay.
Psalms 49 and 11. And it reads, their inward thought is that their house shall continue forever.
Right, and that's the pride of Esau, man. That they can do whatever the hell they want, and that's how they came over here, right? The whole manifest destiny, if you will. If they can just go and roam wherever they want to, right, and conquer or conquest, if you will, right? That's what they have done, right? And when they feel like, keep going on the precepts, so like you.
And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
After their what?
After their own names.
Right, because those that's new to the channel, right, who don't have this understanding, where does the name America come from? Right, we got to give you these things, man. You got to start asking yourself these questions, right? If I'm an American, a so-called American, why do I call myself an American? Right, let's see where this comes from, right? Amerigo Vespucci, man. History will tell itself, right? We're going to share our screen real quick. Yeah. That's what I want. Just real quick.
That's it. That's true.
Right. That's what history has to say about this thing, right? Watch this. Right. By 1502, right, the Florentine merchant and explorer Amerigo Vespucci had figured out that Columbus was wrong, and the word of a new world had spread throughout Europe. America was later named for Vespucci, and as researchers now recognize, neither man was actually the first to discover the Americas. We can go into deep, man, with that. And those of you that's familiar with the Apocrypha, right? And what's that, Second Ezra, the 13th chapter,
verse 40,
right? That's dealing with the 10 tribes that was over here, and that's facts proving that this is a lie, right? That they weren't the first ones to come over here and discover. They discovered our ancestors over here. They discovered Israelites over here, and they end up changing that and put his name on it. So that's where our word America comes from. It was named after a map maker, Amerigo Vespucci, right? A discoverer, if you will. I yield on that point. We're gonna keep it rolling. Next precept. You got one?
Yeah, this is Psalm 64. I'm gonna start at 3. This is Psalm 64 and 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Right, and that's what they came over here with, muskets. Right, that's what it said. What's that? It says that their words were smooth as butter,
but war was
in their heart. Right, read on, Salaki.
That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him.
Right, and that's what they're doing now. Right, they out here shooting fireworks. Right, but guess what? Jake done went and spent his half of his dang check on fireworks.
And watch this. It said they encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune and lay snares privily. Jake out here shooting fireworks, and they just banned fireworks too. So if the police or the overseers come up and see you shooting them, you're giving them an opportunity to draw swords on you, right? You putting yourself and children, right? because children out here shooting fireworks too. So you giving them an opportunity to Zechariah 11:5. Right? Grab it for me, King, if you can. Bible Kashaf. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. And it's crazy because think about this. We ain't got no fireworks stands. So who we buying them from? Edomites. Then you go back to your neighborhood and pop these fireworks where Edomites told you not to pop them. And then Esau pull up on you. It's the same. It's just like damn crack. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't got no boat shipping this stuff in. So they giving it to us and then catching us with it. It's the same thing, bro. I'm not saying that it's to that extent, but it's on a minute level, but it's the same practice. Like they have their give Jake something he like to do, make it illegal, and catch him with it. And then render them judgment for it.
What was that precept you asked me that for?
Zechariah 11:5.
Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. And it reads, it says, whose possessors slay them.
They what?
Whose possessors slay them.
They pull up on you, draw them swords. Jake scatter, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we were scattered. Jake break, you know what I'm saying? They chase you, they catch you. Now they pissed because they had to run after you. Hey, they literally put a slug in you or thrust you through. Go ahead.
Right. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
And what?
And hold themselves not guilty.
And they gonna say, hey, we told y'all niggas not to buy fireworks. It's prohibited all over the land, and y'all still want to get down.
Right. Or dealing with America being free. Oh, if you don't like it over here, what?
You can go back to where you come from.
Right. So, y'all brought us over here. Reading on.
Go ahead.
Right. That sell them. So like I'm gonna start back at the top. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Right.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
They what?
They that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
Right, because they done got paid for you buying the fireworks. And then when they throw your ass in jail, they gonna get paid for you being in jail. Right?
Precepts, man, they flying.
Revelations
chapter. We're gonna get back to that. Revelations chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, the devil, the deceiver, overseer, right, shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. And that's kind of going back into, I'm gonna give it back to my brother, but that's going into the prison systems, right? And we're gonna get into the Constitution on when you become a slave. I'm gonna pull up that article, right? That Constitution, right? When you become a slave, you are now a ward of the state, a slave to the state, right? That's there you are now. They test their vaccines on you, they implement their laws on you, right? You now are a slave to the state, and that was the same thing that was happening back in the 1619 and during the 1865 during the Emancipation Proclamation Act, when they would free the slaves, would know where to go. Now you got to be out here fending for yourself, right? And then the next thing you know, you're trying to get it how you live, and that's how we doing it now. Jake trying to get it how you live, and you get jammed up. Your adversary, right? He's going to throw you into prison. I yield with that.
I yield too. Go ahead, King. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Psalms 83. I'm gonna grab this because you said it, right? Psalms 83 and verse 5, right? Psalms 83 and verse 5, and it reads, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, right? And that's what we're dealing with right now with America, right? All the UN, right? All these other nations have gathered together with one consent, right? And this one consent is taking away our heritage, right? Our language, our culture, right? Our traditions through the scriptures, right? These things have been the East Indian man can come over here and he can practice his religion, right? The Chinese man come over here and he can practice his religion. It's the land of the free and home of the brave. But the moment we want to claim and call back our heritage, it's anti-Semitic, right? It's hate speech, right? You got to be put on Southern Poverty Law Center, right? This is the stuff that we're dealing with, and it's telling you that they have made crafty counsel against us, and they're confederate against us. And it starts naming some of the nations, right? I'm gonna bring out a couple of those in verse 6. This is Psalms 83 and verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom, right, the so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, right, of Moab, right, dealing with the Chinese, the Hagarenes, right, Gabal, Ammon, right, the Japanese, Amalek, the Jewish, right, and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre and the Africans, right? So this is kind of like the Most High God has a hit list, man, for all these other nations who have taken the apple of his eye, right? I yield with that. You got something not?
No, I'm gonna yield.
Come. Keeping it rolling, right?
Numbers. What the numbers? Yeah, this will roll right into what we were just talking about. This is Numbers chapter 35 and verse 33. Numbers 35 and 33, classic precept. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land.
Man, no, and this was back then, even still to this day, right? Blood defiles the land, right? So a lot of American so-called blacks, Africans, Latinos, so like your African Americans, right? Latinos and Native American Indians, a lot of our blood has been shed on this land, right? And a lot of it was still being shed during 1776 on the July 4th. A lot of us were still in captivity, man. Right? I yield on that.
There's some more on this. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
Right. So that's the justice that the Most High God has set up. He who sheds the blood, he's whose blood is shed, those of the Israelites. Nothing can cleanse the land but by the blood who have shed the blood of the Israelites, right? The oppressors, man, the so-called white man, right? That's what's going on. You got some Joel 3?
Yeah, this is Joel 3 and 19. Egypt shall be desolate, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land.
You see that? Read on.
But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahweh dwelleth in Zion.
All right, so the Lord's gonna come back, and this is future prophecy right here, right? And we waiting right now for this thing to happen. All right, Micah chapter 2, right? Micah chapter 2. I'm gonna start at verse 1. All right, Micah 2 and verse 1. I'm gonna read through verse 3. Micah 2 and 1 through 3. And it reads, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Right? You got society, right? The elite, the Americans, the founding fathers, right? They just wake up in the morning thinking of a master plan, how to keep Jake in their hand. Right? That's what they doing. Right? What can I do to get Jake go off today, man? What can I do to get Jake jammed up? That's what they're doing.
Even to go back to what we were saying about the fireworks, they made it illegal to have fireworks, but not illegal to buy them or sell them. Right? You know what I'm saying? Knowing that this Folly Day is right around the corner. So all they have to do is make sure the merchant man sell them to your ass, because you gonna buy them, and then they can deal with you accordingly, however they see fit. Right? You gotta wake up, bro. We falling for the grown ass men, bro. Popping fireworks and jumping out of wheelchairs, running on their nubs. Grown ass men, bro.
God, man.
You go ahead.
Con. This is back in Micah chapter 2, right? And it says, when the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in their power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Right? This is the MO, man.
Okay.
This is their MO. Right? They wake up and practice wickedness. Right? I'm gonna jump down to verse 10.
That's right.
Right? Jump down to verse 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest."
This is what?
Not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. Right? So the Lord, even the prophet Micah said, man, arise, man, it's time to get up out of here. Right? You got to start working on coming back to the Most High God and get up out of here on the spiritual and also, Lord willing, a physical level. Right? You got something up?
Next precept. This is Galatians 5:1.
Mm-hmm.
This is Galatians 5:1. And it reads, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty."
In the what?
In the liberty.
Right. Stand fast in your freedom. Mm-hmm. Right. We're going to get on that freedom real quick.
You got some?
No, after that.
Stand fast in the liberty wherewith Hamashiach hath made us free.
Mm-hmm. Who had made us free?
Hamashiach.
America 1776, 4th of July.
Hamashiach.
Right, read on.
Hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Right, and that's what we entangle with the ways of the world, man. We feel like, even before coming to this knowledge of this truth, man, we felt, I can speak for myself, that a lot of the activities and a lot of the festivities, if you will, that I was partaking in the ways of the world, I felt like they was a part of my DNA. I thought it was a fabric of who I was. So now me knowing what I know and I got to do away with those, I feel like I was cutting away at my own flesh. But guess what? I was on a spiritual level, man. You got to cut this thing off. You got to mortify your members.
Get that second Esdras 9 and 11. I got one more. Let me back in on this point.
This is second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 11. "And they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty."
While they had what?
While they had yet liberty.
Right.
"And when as yet place of repentance was open unto them."
It was what?
It was open unto them.
Right now you have the liberty to repent. You have the freedom to come out of Babylon. You have the free, I won't say free will, but you have the freedom to really choose the Most High. Right? You know what I'm saying? He's giving you an opportunity to choose him first. Because when he came back and established his kingdom, it ain't gonna be no choice for the other. You ain't not be able to freak off with America. America not gonna be here, but you're not gonna be able to freak off with the other guys because they not gonna be here. You know, right? It's only gonna be Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and they gonna be serving us through serving him through serving us.
You know what? I now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like the average Christian would believe Yahweh Shai, who they call Christ, gonna come back riding on that horse with an American flag on his back.
They might. They might, bro. I'm led to believe that. You might be right.
That's not what he coming, man. He not coming like that.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
It says, this is James 1 and 25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deeds.
That's what it's about, man. Don't forget what's coming out, man. Don't forget what of our forefathers and our foremothers of old, man. Not just dealing with the scriptures, but outside of the scriptures that don't record these things, like the Transatlantic Slave Trade Act, like the Arab Slave Trade Act, right? These things have happened, man, and they still are happening on the spiritual level, right? You want me to get that precept?
The American flag on his back. Hey, man, that red, white, and blue is gonna be the whiteness of the rose, the blood of the heathens, and the tears of joy of the saints. You know what I'm saying? That's what their red, white, and blue gonna be.
Right. So I got where we at? I got a next precept. 2 Corinthians 3. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse Salakia. Is it 3 and 17? Con, that's what I want.
Con.
2 Corinthians 3 and verse 17. And it reads, now the Most High is the Spirit. I'm going to read it as is. Now the Lord is the Spirit. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty.
There's what?
There is liberty.
That's right.
And you don't see the Spirit of the Lord here, man. Not in America. They don't have the Spirit of the Most High God. So there's no freedom here. It can't be. They free to do whatever they want to do, but they're not living according to that perfect law of liberty like the brother just brought out in James.
That's right.
right? You got to separate yourselves from the world, right? That's it on that. 2 Corinthians 3:17.
The next precept is John 8:31. John 8:31 through 32. John 8:31 through 32. And it reads, Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word,
And what?
If you continue in my word,
right,
then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Right, and that's what the truth is that we are the Hebrew Israelites, right? We are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. We have been brought to a land of our captives, and we have been here, and we are still in their hand on a spiritual, physical, and a mental level. And just because, according to Ecclesiastes 7:7, right, oppression should make you mad. But you have been given these gifts. You have been given a day off. Let's pay Jake. Let's give him one day. We can pay him, get him off, right? And then he spent his whole paycheck, and then give the money right back to us.
Yeah, we can pay him to pay us. And that's, man, that truth also is the law of liberty, right? That we was just referencing in the previous precept in James. The freedom of knowing who you are. If you know who you are, guess what? Hey, it's free to be an Israelite. You ain't got to pay for these holidays as far as they paying you to be off. Now you go get the money back to them. You going in their stores, you buying up the fireworks, you done bought up all this meat, right? You know what I'm saying? All this pork, all this abominable things. You perpetuating this damn flag that don't represent you, right? You really feel like you were freed on July 4th, 1776. When we were literally still in the cotton fields. So how does that even pertain to you? Nothing about our nation was free July 4th, 1776. Nothing about us was free. We were still in bondage, and we're still in bondage today. Go ahead. All right.
Right. We had when me and Og and the Brews, we first started hitting boots on the ground, man, putting the boots on the ground. And we pulled up on this old school Jake. And what was his name?
Rockefeller.
Brother Rockefeller, man.
Yeah, man.
Pulled up on Brother Rockefeller, man, in some apartment complexes.
You wasn't there, huh?
Right. Yeah, man. Pulled up on Brother Rockefeller, and we having a good dialogue with him, man. We bringing out the precepts. And the brother said, I don't care what y'all say. I'm American, man. I love America.
What said? I love hot dogs. I love hamburgers. Right.
And so, but that's just the conditioning, man, of our people, right? That they can't even fathom not being a part of the great world power, man. But we serving a mighty world power, man. That's the Most High God Yahweh, man. Right? But he ultimately said, and he didn't just stop there. I asked him, what you asked him? You believe? He said, you believe?
I say you believe in Santa Claus? Say if a white man come down your chimney on December 25th, what you gonna do? His cousin was standing there with her. He said, I'm gonna blow him away.
That's what his cousin said.
Well, Rockefeller said, well, if it's the 25th.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the type of, that's how bugged out our people is, man. That's how scorned they are, how warped they are. White man come down his chimney on the 25th. He gonna give him some cookies. Go in the kitchen to get him some milk. The white man gonna hit him over the head and rob him. That's what's gonna happen.
God, man. Right, this is a good precept, man. Dealing with the foods and things.
All while eating the cookie.
Right. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna get into what's going on. But this is 1 Corinthians, the 8th chapter. Right, because this is for those Jakes that you kind of growing up in this thing on a spiritual level. You know you're an Israelite, and you abstain today from the 4th of July. But what about tomorrow?
You're gonna pull up for your barbecue plate.
Let's see what the Lord say about that. Right, 1 Corinthians 8, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. Let me start at 1. 1 Corinthians 8:1. Salaki Nakai. Right, brother Train. Right, now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth, right? And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing, yet as he ought to know. But if any man love God, the same is known of him. And as concerning, therefore, the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, right? The whore of Babylon, right? That's what these things are, the birth of America, right? These things are offered to that God, to that idol God. We know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other God but one. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many. So what this is pretty much saying, to kind of break this down, right? Jake, don't go out here, man, tomorrow and your mama done made you a to-go plate, right, for the Thanksgiving. Salakia. Don't eat that either, man. Right? But for the 4th of July, man, you can't be partaking in that, man, because that has been offered unto idols. That's an unclean food. It might be clean meats. It might be lawful according to the scriptures, but it is now unclean according to what it has been offered up unto.
I appreciate it.
Right, go ahead, Art.
This is Psalms 96. I'm going to start at 4. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all powers. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
Or what?
Are idols.
Right? Every single god that we worship or holiday that we worship, they're idols, right? And they're surrounded by paganism, man. Read on, Art.
But Yahweh made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. On that.
Right. This place, I'm in Sirach. Sirach chapter 5.
Yeah, I got the next one after
that. Sirach chapter 5, right? Sirach 5, I'm gonna start at 1 at the top. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 1. Set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Because that's what we feel, man. We feel like what they have done is a mind trick, right? They have taken a people, and I heard this reference, right? If you really feel that you're free, right? If you take a dog, right, and you keep it caged up, right, for years, you keep this dog caged up for years, and then you say, you know what, I'm gonna change my mind. They don't change the law. They said now it's illegal for me to keep this dog just caged up like this. I'm gonna take this dog out this cage and I'm gonna let him roam around in my backyard.
Right.
Right. Does this dog still that he might feel that he's free because he has been given some portion of the land? But when you know that who you are and what your heritage is and who your God is, you know that this whole world was made for our sakes.
That's right.
You just can't give us no backyard. You just can't give me no piece of the pie, man. We want the whole pie, man. You got that precept?
Come on, it's the 2nd Esdras chapter 6. And I'm gonna start at 59. It reads, if the world now be made for our sakes,
for who?
For our sakes.
Read on.
Why do we not possess an inheritance with the world?
Why do we not get the? I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Keep going on that.
How long shall this endure?
How long is this thing going? How long are we gonna continue to see these repetitive cycles? Jake getting gunned down in the street. Jake rising up to the best of his ability, trying to move in civil rights, and then he get jammed up, thrown in prison. Now he's a part of the system. Now he's a slave to the state, an enemy to the state. Now you got to strike. Now why you working on your second strike when you come back home? Right? And then when you come back home, you institutionalize in the mind. Right? This is not the land of our rest, man. Read on that.
Let's shit on that.
Right. Then you come back home, institutionalized. Now you got an ankle monitor. You got to have a monitor on your ankle because they got to keep track of you. You're not free, man. You can't be.
This is Jeremiah 2 and 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave?
A what?
A homeborn slave?
Right. We just keep going on it.
Why is he spoiled? That's it.
Right. And that's what we see, man. That's what Jeremiah was saying. He was looking around, and those who have eyes to see now, you got to look around and be like, dang, it's got to be more than this. It's got to be more than this. You got to come back to your heritage. How do you know where you're supposed to be going if you don't know where you're coming from? Or you don't know who you are? That's why the scriptures call us a lost tribe, man.
Precept. The 2 Samuel 2:26. Then Abner called to Joab and said,
What do you say?
Shall the sword devour forever?
Hmm.
Knowest thou not that it will be bitter in the latter end? How long shall it be then, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren?
And that's what's going on, man. They want us to get our brothers to go off on the left hand side, man. We can't continue to do that no more, man. We're planting seeds of righteousness, right? You got something else?
Let's see, go.
Watch this real quick because we want to.
Mike, go ahead, do your thing though. I got something else on this.
Bear with us, family. Right, we got another excerpt for y'all to look at, man, because we know Jake visual learners. We gotta meet them where they're at. Right. Reparation chart. Right. We're gonna show y'all the reparations, man. Go ahead and bring that precept out.
This is Psalms 106, starting at verse 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning who the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols.
Right, and we mingled amongst the heathen, and we learned their works. We learned how to be real good at being an American. Right, go ahead.
Which are a snare unto them.
Which are what?
A snare unto them.
Right. How can you teach your children, right, that you are an American, man?
Yea, they sacrifice their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and their daughters.
We was building with a brother the other night,
with Nakai.
And you made a reference. You was telling them like even about the people that was over here first before America was even the conception of America. So how when they come over here, the people who were over here, our ancestors, our foremothers, how can they when they coined this place America, how can they be American? By title, you're gonna place it, but they're not American. They can't be. You got some more on that?
Therefore, verse 40. Therefore was verse 39. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of Yahweh kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance, and he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them, and their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand.
Right, and that's what we're seeing today, man. Our people are being brought into subjection by the hand of our oppressors, and we can't even see it. We're blind, man. 2 Thessalonians 2:10, real quick.
Got you.
The water. All right, we got this chart for you.
I know you.
Hey, bear with my bro Nakai the scribe on the scene, man. We throwing a lot of precepts out here, man, but we got to follow the spirit, man. A lot of these things is just things that the Most High say He gonna call these things to remembrance, man. Go ahead, bro.
2 Thessalonians 2:10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness.
Right, because we have really been deceived by unrighteous acts, right?
In them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth.
Right, because because the love of the truth wasn't really being given to us. You're not getting this truth in the average synagogue, your church, your theology schools, right? The history system, the school system. You're not getting this, right? So you're not, but this right here, you got to receive this. Read on.
That they might be saved.
That they what?
And they might be saved.
Right, because that's the gospel, man. Being saved and delivered. That's what salvation is from our enemies. Right, read on.
And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion.
Right, and that's what our people are under right now. A strong delusion, man. They feel that they bleed red, white, and blue.
That they should believe a lie.
And it's all lies, man. Plain upon table.
Precepts for that. I'm gonna let you yield your point, or I can grab my precepts.
Okay, you can grab your precept, and I'm gonna go ahead and share this. Right, while the brother getting these precepts, look at this, man. This is the history of the reparation chart, man. Reparation payments. Right, USA 1.6 billion, right? And we got a video too. It's a video on Netflix, right? That we gonna definitely want to throw in the chat for y'all to go and check this out on your spare time to kind of really bring a lot of these things to life. I wish we had time to really kind of break that whole video down, but we don't. But look at this, man. USA, the Japanese American, they've been given reparations, 1.6 billion, $20,000 each for the Japanese American. Right? I'll give a black person, a so-called black person, I give him $1, right? If he could tell me, right, what slavery was a Japanese person in, right? The Jewish Holocaust, right? $25 million to Holocaust survivors. That was in 1990, 1988, right? This is during the time where we was being called African Americans, right? In 87, that's when they coined African Americans. We weren't called niggas no more, right? They gave the Canadians land, right? $230 million. Then they came back to USA, right? The so-called $5 Indians, right? Because these were Edomites. If you do your research, the Edomites found out they was going to give reparations to the so-called Indians, so they moved them off the plantations, took over the lands that was occupied by these Native American Indians, and they put themselves down as Native Americans. So they received the reparations of the Native American Indians. This place has to go, man. 1985, right? Chippewas, another Native American Indians will keep on going down. The Alaskans, right? Then the Germans, right? $822 million, right? But look at this right here. From 1865 to when we was 1770, and see this is even letting you know, this chart right here lets you know that we weren't free in 1776.
Because it didn't start in 1776.
It didn't start 1865 to present day. USA, Jim Crow era, $0, man. African American black descendants. Right. This is what, and then we come over here and we work our fingers to the bone, man, for our enemy. Right. And they have paid us nothing. Right. We got a payment for them. Right. I yield on that point. Go ahead, Ak, with that.
Shalakia. Just happened right now. Several minutes into a fireworks show in Fort Worth tonight, a grass fire breaks out, and the whole dang, hey man, it's a huge fire. Real quick, huh? It's a huge fire going right now.
Right. I just saw earlier. It was a mass shooting.
Con, I see that. I just sent it to you. This is live as we speak, man.
Right, watch this.
That's fire. It's buffering.
It's like you bear with us. But yeah, this is a mass fire, man. I'm breaking up. We ain't dealing with the Jay-Z song. We can do the visual, right? But look at this.
Run it back. Start it back from the top. See if we roll through. A huge fire.
Right, this is in Dallas, man. Right, you think you're on fire. You think your block is hot, right? Revelations 2, right?
God.
You think you're going to set the blocks on fire today, man? Let's see what the Most High going to do with that thing, man. Revelations 2. Right, I'm going to stop sharing that. But this is what's going on, man, with our people, man. We want to get a slice of the good old American pie. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, remember therefore from whence thou art fallen, and repent.
And do what?
And repent. And do the first work.
And do what?
And do the first work. Or else I will come unto thee quickly and will remove thy candlestick out of its place, except thou repent. Right, so you better repent, man, because the Most High He has given us a flame, but it's not that flame to go out here and pop fireworks, man. That flame is supposed to be an understanding to allow us to light the path for our people to come out of that darkness, man.
I got a couple precepts. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 10. But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken Yahweh. For whoso despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable.
He is what?
He is miserable, and their hope is vain. Their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. Their wives are foolish, and their children wicked. Their offspring is cursed. Wherefore blessed is the barren that is undefiled, which have not known the sinful bed. She shall have fruit in the visitation of souls.
Come on, man.
All right, I got one more precept. This is Psalms 81. I'm gonna start at 11. Psalms 81 and 11, and it reads, "But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me.
Right.
So I gave them unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsel. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways."
Right. So the Lord said, man, if y'all want to keep, just like a parent, man, the Heavenly Father, He said, man, look, if y'all don't want to get down my rules, it's my way or the highway, man. So I'm gonna turn y'all over to y'all oppressors, and I'm gonna allow them to keep you in bondage. Right? You think you want to be free? Well, go and be free with them, man.
That's right. I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of the Lord shall have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever.
Come on, man. And they some haters, man.
Fine.
That's what the Lord called it. Right, back in, if you got another precept?
No, that's it.
Right, Sirach 5. I'm going to pick back up into Sirach 5. And
I got that joke.
Come on. Right, a couple more precepts, family. The water for everybody tapping in, praying you being edified through the Spirit. Right, Sirach chapter 5, picking up back at verse 2. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of his heart. That's what the brother was just bringing out. You follow that, and he's going to turn you over to your own lust. Reading on. And say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord is long-suffering. He will in no wise let thee go. Right? So you think that because the scripture saying that the Lord's hand is not slack. Galatians says that whatsoever man soweth, he also shall reap. Right? And the Most High God is not mocked, man. Don't you think you can get out here and sneak off behind these trees and pop some fireworks, and then tomorrow you go put your fringes on, and then the video surface, and you out there cutting up, man. Right, read it on, finishing up at verse 4. Say not how, oh, that's it on that. So like you. I'm gonna read it again though. Sirach 5 and 4. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened to me, for the Lord is long suffering. He will in no wise let thee go. Right, and the Most High, when he has his judgment, he's gonna render it down. He see you join hand in hand, and that's gonna be your fate, man. Playing upon tables. Are you got that precept out?
Next precept is Job 11, and I'm gonna start at 11. Job 11 and 11, and it reads, "For he knoweth vain men, he seeth wickedness also. Will he not then consider it? For vain man would be wise, though man be born like a wild ass's coat. If thou prepare thine heart and stretch out thine hands toward him, if iniquity be found in thine hand, put it far away from thee." Right? No, drop it right next to the wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? No, put it far away from thee.
Right.
Go ahead, King.
Right. That's like what the brother just said, man. Fireworks, right? The ways or rudiments of this world, right? The customs, right? The traditions, right? These things are iniquity to the Most High God. If you be found with these things, you got to put it far away from you, man. Don't be playing with this thing. Read on.
And let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacle.
Right, because this is a spiritual thing, man. You're going to defile your temple, participating and spiritually fornicating and freaking off in the world. Right.
For then shalt thou lift up thy face without spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, thou shalt be steadfast and shalt not fear, because thou shalt forget thy misery and remember it as water that passes away. And thine age shall be clearer than the noonday. Thou shalt shine forth, thou shalt be as the morning.
I was social media, man, they tracking everything, man. But somebody tagged me today, and was it 4 years ago today?
Freaking off.
I was freaking off in the world, man. Playing, sitting at a little tree stump with a little cardboard over, playing dominoes, man. No beard, right? Out there, just, hey, man, join hand in hand with the heathen for sure. I was, but I looked and I was disgusted with myself, man. Like, dang. But I also said, man, praise the Most High, man, because I'm not doing those things anymore. Right? I got a quick precept for that. I got a
precept on that too.
Go ahead.
Sirach 17:24. But unto them that repent, he granted them return, and comforted those that failed in patience. Return unto the Lord, and forsake thy sins. Make thy prayer before his face, and offend less.
And what?
And offend less.
Right? And that's why that kind of goes to what I was saying. Yeah, you might have been doing those things, but now, man, you got to make haste, man, and offend less to the best of your ability, man. The Most High, he understands. That's where the grace comes in.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Turn again to the Most High, and turn away from iniquity, for he will lead thee out of darkness into the light of health, and hate thou abomination vehemently. That's a good precept.
Way to escape. Let me see. 1 Corinthians 10:13. Right. There had no temptation taking you, but such as common to man.
That's right.
Right. Everybody know that what's going on today. Everybody gonna be tempted to get out there, and Esau know that, right? You're gonna be passing under the freeway. They're gonna have police cars out there, right, to keep you from speeding. Ain't nobody in the car, ain't no police officer in the car, but they out there, man. They gonna have traps set up, things of that nature, and you're gonna be tempted to get out here and participate in this day, right? People calling you today, be happy for it, brother. You know where I'm at in this thing. Right, 1 Corinthians 10:13. There have no temptation taken you, but such as common to man. But God is faithful.
He is what?
He is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
Fine.
But will with temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Right? We're not just talking about escaping this holiday. We're talking about escaping this civilization, this American custom, these rudiments, the ways of this world, the mindset of an American. You got to escape that, man. Right? And the Lord is giving you an opportunity right now to come out of that. I yield with that point.
I got a precept.
Go ahead, Art.
This is Job 36:10. It says, he opened also their ear to discipline and commanded that they return from iniquity.
He what?
He commanded that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They cry not when he bindeth them.
Obadiah. We're going to go straight for the jugular, man. Right? The prophet Obadiah. You holding something?
La.
Right. And then we got one excerpt dealing with Abe. Old Abe Lincoln, man. Right, to close this thing off and wrap it up. This is Obadiah 1 and verse 2. Obadiah 1 and 2. Let me start at verse 1, man. Obadiah 1 from the top. The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Most High God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Right? This is a spiritual battle according to, and physical. Right? Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. The pride of being American. That's going to deceive you, man. It's not going to get you nowhere. Thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart,
what do you say?
Who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? And that's the pride of Esau right there, man. That's the pride of the world that we live in, is that they feel that they can go anywhere, do anything, say anything, right? And not be held and not be found guilty, as it says in the book of Psalms 49 and 11. Or is that Zechariah 11 and 5? Right. Reading on. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou as the eagle, and though thou set thyself, so like it, thy set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. Right. And that's what they have done and will continue to do, man. Until we realize who we are and we start waking up and allowing these prophecies to be fulfilled through the Spirit, and then the Most High will send Yahweh Shai back and will redeem his people, man. So we got something that Uncle Abe Lincoln has said. Right? You got a precept up?
No, I was holding that last one. I had some, but I dropped it. We can go ahead with the excerpt.
Con. I'm just going to read it, man. I posted a link in the chat. Right? This is Lincoln on slavery. It says, Abraham Lincoln is often referred to as the great emancipator, and yet he did not publicly call the emancipation throughout his entire life. Right? So what this is saying is Abe had slaves, man.
Con.
Abe participated, and he had slave bed wenches.
And he ain't want to free him either.
That's right, Art. Right, but
he had to. It was about business.
That's right. It says emancipation through his entire life. Lincoln began his public career by claiming that he was anti-slavery.
He what?
He was anti-slavery.
By claiming that.
Against slavery expansion, but not calling for immediate. Man, we got to share this on the screen. Immediate emancipation. However, the man who began the anti-slavery eventually. It's all good. Let me jump down here. He vigorously supported the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery throughout the United States. And in the last speech of his life, he recommended extending the vote to African Americans. Right. So Abe wasn't really about that. But let me jump down. On October the 16th, 1854, he had a speech in Peoria, Illinois. All right. Let's see what Uncle Abe said.
What did he say?
Lincoln, in a speech at Peoria, attacked slavery on the grounds that its existence within the United States made America's democracy appear hypocritical in the eyes of the world. However, he also confessed his uncertainty as how to end slavery where it then existed, because he believed that neither colonization nor racial equality were practical. So he felt that these things were hypocritical, being an American, right? How can you join yourself to a nation that feels like wherever they feel like they can go, they can do whatever they want to do? And so through the Spirit, man, we try to bring out as much evidence as we can, right, via this live stream, to expound on the history of what the world, the so-called America, and the founding of it. And we tried to did our best, our ability to tie these things into the scriptures, so that the precepts would make these things manifest and make these things known. All right, you got something to add? I got one precept.
It says 2 Peter 2 and 20. 2 Peter 2 and 20. Shalakia. I'm gonna start at 19. I'm gonna start at 18. It say, for when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness. Those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promised them liberty, they promised them liberty, they themselves are servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage.
Right. You think that you really overcoming something, but you still in bondage, man. You still or you have spiritual shackles on your mind,
like thinking we free
mm-hmm.
and we still in bondage.
Right.
Verse 20. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world,
of the what?
Of the world, through the knowledge of our Adawan and Savior Yahushai Hamashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse them than the beginning.
Right. So you keep on doing these things. You think that our ancestors and our foremothers had it bad, right? Hey, as the brother was bringing out in that second, what was the second Ezra 6? Right, talking about the ring, man. Right. One precept, man. Family, Acts 17 and 11. I'm gonna yield with this. This is Acts 17 and verse 11. It says, "These were noble than those that in Thessalonica, right? That they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily, whether those things were so." Right? Don't just search these scriptures to find out if I'm an Israelite. Look throughout the historical facts, man. Look at the historical data, right? The reparation charts, the 1776, the Constitution, right? The 13th Amendment. Look into these things and see whether these things be so.
Quick precept. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Study to shew thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needed not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
You can't just go off of, even when we coming out and we bringing this video out, don't just go off of what we're saying either, man. Lord willing, you study to show yourself approved and rightly divide this thing. Or you gotta be able to discern the truth from the lies, man. I yield with that, man. Ak, you got anything else?
I'm closing.
Con, right? So we not Americans, man. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, of Negro descent, you are Israelite according to the scriptures, biblically, right? You are who your father is. It's time for you to start waking up, keeping these commandments.
Play that,
play that,
man. Right, and you should have played that when you were showing the reparations, right? Because it said, show that reparations chart one more time first, and then play that. Salakia, make sure y'all hear this.
I think now, I can play it. I'm gonna leave.
Okay, Can you do that?
I'm gonna mute it. Yeah. 1 second. Right, bear with us. We're pulling it up real quick. It's a quick video. Right, dealing with the history of America. Right. You can find this video on Netflix too as well. Okay, here it is. Right. Here it is, 3. Right, we're playing it right now.
Controls the future. And if slavery just ended and then we had the civil rights movement and everything was fine, then what are we still complaining about? Who controls the past controls the future, and your children, they are being taught that slavery was a side issue in the Civil War. 6 months before the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham Lincoln passed the Compensated Emancipation Act. What did that do? He freed DC slaves, and first he set up a commission to pay approximately $300, which was about $7,000 in today's money, in compensation to former slave owners for each enslaved African freed. Please read that carefully. I'm not fooling. After 9 months, 900 slave owners were paid $1 million in 1860 money for lost property. So when people have a discussion about reparations for slavery, it's a false debate, because reparations have already been paid. They were paid to slave owners.
All right, so this video, if y'all was able to hear it through the spirit, right, what this man is bringing out, these facts, is talking about that reparations were paid for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the Native American Indians who were placed in bondage, right? And the reparations were paid to the slave owners, right? And it said it was over 900 slave owners, and $1 million were paid to each slave owner on the behalf of his possession of the slaves. So that's $900 million, man.
Through something called the compensation emancipation. And that took place 6 months before the emancipation of the slaves. So before they even freed us, they had already paid reparations to the slave owners.
Right. So,
or so-called freed us, not freed us, but before they abolished chattel slavery and through the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham had already put a loophole in play for the so-called slave owners.
Right, and it's kind of like a fail-safe, right? Abe going out here telling these people, yeah, man, you just let them go, man. You think they were just gonna freely let them? You know how much free labor that was, right? And that's why I'm gonna yield with this point, but that's why the Great Depression happened too, as well, because when the slaves let the when the slave owners let the slaves go, right? They couldn't tend to their crops. They couldn't tend to their fields. They didn't know how to yield the herbs. That was the same thing that happened when they came over here and they discovered America. The Native Americans were here. They were the ones that were cultivating the land, right? So they used them to build this place up. But the moment that they freed the slaves, they weren't able to buy, sell, and trade and things like that. And so they put the economy into a Great Depression, right? So with that, man, we yield, man. We pray it was edifying through the spirits. Brother Nasi with SUC.
Come, Brother Shamariah.
Come, man. With that, man, we say Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Right. And big death to America, man. Right?
Big death to America.
We hate it here, man. And Lord willing, man, we can get up out of here pretty soon, man. So uphold those commandments, man. And with that, we bid y'all shalom.
Shalom.